What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, concept art within Studio Series has been introduced, I think for the first time this year or last year, I can't remember. Ever since, honestly, when we got that Steeljaw pack-in with Dark of the Moon Leadfoot, it always seemed like, okay, we could get concept art characters in Studio Series. But now, officially this year, Hasbro let it be known that concept art stuff is on the table, which is amazing. So many possibilities. So I just put together this small little list from the first 3 movies of concept art characters and just designs in general that I think would make amazing Studio Series figure releases. So I'm going to go from the 2007 movie, ROTF and Dark of the Moon, and let's get right down to this list. So first one here that I want to talk about is this Brawl / Devastator concept art. Because if you guys don't remember, Brawl was originally going to be called Devastator, and a flub ended up making it into the movie, him being labeled as Devastator in that scene when the Decepticons are mobilizing, when in reality he was always supposed to be called Brawl in the final cut of the movie. So just a little factoid there for the name. But this is weird because it's like an amalgamation of quite a few different designs. You get Blackout in there, you get Brawl, and then he kind of reminds me of DevCon with how the cannon sits in his head and just the overall posture of the robot mode design. So it's very weird. And, I definitely feel like this would be a sick Commander class release or Leader class. But yeah, I mean, if this transformed into the helicopter that Blackout was, which it looks like it is, it's very interesting that this was also considered to be Devastator, and they were just throwing this name around like crazy with the Decepticons. And we have concept art, which I think was for Brawl again, or maybe not. Maybe it was for Wreckage. I can't really remember, but it was for one of the more tactical Decepticons. And it seems like it would have been a cool video game design because it's got the camshaft head, or the one-eyed head, whatever you want to call it. And I'm surprised it didn't make it into any of the video game stuff back then, because this is actually a really cool, menacing Decepticon look. You got that big shoulder cannon. The way they handled the car mode kibble looks pretty cool for what it is. And I could definitely see this being a Voyager class release under Studio Series, no doubt. And by the way, where is the freaking Wreckage, Hasbro? We need Wreckage. Just imagine a Voyager or Leader class modern day Wreckage. It would blow that original deluxe out of the water. But this design right here, I would love to see as a Voyager class release. Just looks so cool and menacing. And then this is probably one of the more famous Bayverse concept art designs here. RC from the 2007 film. This did get a deluxe way back in 2007, and she was originally supposed to be in the movie, but was cut last minute in favor of Ironhide because they didn't feel like explaining female Transformers, even though when RC appeared in the sequel, they didn't even bother explaining it then, so in reality it really didn't matter at all, which is kind of funny if you think about it that way. But this design in general is just very cool, obviously a lot of details. And I think if they handle it the way they did the original deluxe and they just updated the articulation and the design a little bit and the details, it would make for probably the best Studio Series RC figure we could get. Better than the Bumblebee movie, better than ROTF, 86, all those. It would probably be the best in my opinion. And this, especially when I was a little kid, this was my favorite RC look. That deluxe class figure, that was what I used to call my RC. This is what I identified with her in terms of, remembering how she looked as a design when I was a little kid. It wasn't until Animated or Revenge of the Fallen or Prime came out where I was like, okay, she's got different looks, and I saw the 86 movie in 2009. So this was really my first exposure to RC, which is kind of crazy and a little random, especially for older people watching this video. They're like, wait, what? Your first exposure to RC was a freaking random concept art design from the first live-action movie? And the last one here for the 2007 movie, Ratchet, or I think the working name for this design was Inferno as well at some point. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody remembers, but I could have sworn I remember seeing that as well. But this was also considered to be Ratchet. Obviously, you got that classic V logo design thing on his head there, whatever you want to call it. A bit more of a classic color scheme for Ratchet, and same with the vehicle mode itself, a bit more classic oriented for him. This overall probably would have pleased a lot of the G1ers back then and the G-Wooners as well, that were hacking computers, people who were working on the movie, sending death threats to people saying, you ruined my childhood, you did this and that, I'm gonna go kill you. Like, I'm not even speaking in hyperbole here. Like, people actually did this. You could look it up. There's stories about it. It was freaking insane. Transformers fans, dudes from G1 were going insane when this movie was first coming out. But this design in general, I would love to see it as a Voyager class. I definitely do think they gotta redo the actual movie design as a Voyager at some point soon. But I would love to see this in the concept art line. The gun design is pretty cool. Just the overall look of him, it's a bit more in line with what we know Ratchet to be. So there is also some brand familiarity there with people. So I definitely do feel like this would be a good sell for Hasbro. Now, jumping into Revenge of the Fallen, we have Springer, I think was the working name for this concept art. So we originally were supposed to get Springer in Revenge of the Fallen, but obviously it didn't happen. And this design being an Osprey, I think would really work as a Voyager or leader class. He's got the chicken legs, that crazy sort of, not really insect head, but just those interesting head designs that I used to get back then with the Bayverse that I used to love so much as a little kid, and I still do till this day, honestly. But yeah, just a really armored up Autobot movie design that I really do feel like would work as a nice Voyager or leader class release. And another very popular concept art here, Breakaway, or in this case he was called Firestorm early on. Another amazing Voyager class release. They could maybe fudge it as a deluxe like how they released him back in 2009. But these days with the deluxe class budget, I really don't think he would be done justice. And he would probably be a bit too clunky and just not really fun to transform. So I definitely do feel like a Voyager class release would probably be best in terms of handling this design nowadays. And I mean, this design speaks for itself. Just look at the intricacies, the complexity, and just the uniqueness of how they handled a jet former here with Breakaway. It's till this day one of the greatest concept art designs that we've ever gotten from the Bayverse, and this did make an appearance in the Revenge of the Fallen video game at least, which was fantastic back then. And I'm saying this right now, I am campaigning for this right here, right now in this video. First Studio Series Titan class release, I would kill for a Revenge of the Fallen depth charge. I mean, just look at this. The design just speaks for itself. He's even kind of a triple changer, where he's got this in-between sort of Gerwalk mode, where he's like half transformed, and his legs are still the side pieces of a naval ship. Oh my god. Like, just imagine getting this triple changer as a Titan class. Oh, this would be so cool. And seeing Depth Charge as a live-action design put through the Bayverse lens of an Autobot is just so interesting, because it really does look nothing like Depth Charge other than him being an aquatic-type character still. I guess maybe you could find cues in the head sculpt, but that's about it, honestly. Which, you know, was the story of the Bayverse, so can't really hate on it too much. It's just a cool design, and I still do think the name use here was pretty much perfect. We did get a scout class of this back in 2009, but obviously that is way, way too small. And you could see the scale chart there with a human that he is supposed to be absolutely huge, definitely Titan class scaled, and I would just love to see this. Probably one of my top 3 picks. Moving on to a couple Constructicons now. I don't remember if this one was turned into a character that already appeared in the movie, but this Volvo wheel loader would be so cool as a Voyager or leader class. Just look at the arm design and the crazy insect legs and head. It just fits right in line with all the other Constructicons we've gotten so far, and even more of a unique design than freaking Hightower. And another Constructicon that I can't, well, this one definitely didn't turn into a different character because this construction vehicle didn't appear in the movie. this rolling blade vehicle, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember the name of this construction vehicle. Let me know in the comments below. But look at this freaking robot mode, guys. Look at how unique and just crazy that is. This reminds me of a robot that you would see in some random video game in 2005. Oh my god. Just imagine seeing a Voyager earlier class release of this. That can also combine with the Devastator that we already have, along with the other Constructicon that I just talked about. That would be so cool, and a nice cross-branding thing, or cross-selling thing that they could do with all the Constructicons. Now moving into the last few here for Dark of the Moon, we have a quite interesting one here with Optimus Prime. This was one of the earlier trailer battle modes for him, and just look at that snake arm, the sword arm, and the leg design. I would love to see this as a commander class. They love to do Optimus Prime figures, so this is an excuse to do another one. And the combined mode design with the wheels on that snake arm and just the shoulder pylons with the wings in the back. It looks so vicious and menacing, almost Decepticon-like. I mean, if I was a Decepticon and I was in battle and I saw the leader of the Autobots, the Matrix Bear, Optimus Prime himself, charging at me in this battle mode, I would be scared shitless. Like, this is a fantastic design, honestly, and I really do feel like it would work as a commander. Now, I'm pretty sure this design here was an early look for the Dreads, just basing it off of that head sculpt. And getting a Dread that actually has some color to it that isn't just black like all the other 4 or 5 releases we've gotten over the years would be pretty cool and a nice little standout between your group of Dreads with Berserker, Crowbar, Hatchet, and Crankcase. So I really do feel like this as a deluxe class release would be so cool just to have more variety with your Dreads there. And the last one here that I want to talk about is one of the more interesting ones. So we were originally going to see the Wreckers in Dark of the Moon in their Cybertronian forms landing on Earth and scanning their NASCAR vehicle forms, which would have been so cool, added a bit more of context to the characters, and of course a bit more screen time, which I really do feel like was needed with these characters because they did appear towards the end of the movie, and the scenes that they did have did fill in a bit of the blanks about the characters, and they did give us some nice characterization here and there, but I definitely do feel like they were lacking a little bit there. And the Cybertronian form here for Leadfoot and Steeljaw, I mean, we already have Leadfoot and Steeljaw. They could just reshell the molds and sell it as a Cybertronian form that we see here, and it would be really genius and super cool, and I would be really curious to see how that car mode would look, because it seems like Hasbro would have to make it up themselves because they didn't really do one here in terms of concept art from what I could find online. But seeing this as a release would be totally left field and honestly really cool to see all 3 Wreckers in their Cybertronian forms with their Earth mode forms as well on your shelf. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for all the concept art that I want to talk about in this video. Let me know down in the comments below what concept arts from the Bayverse or just any movies in general with Transformers that you would like to see in the Studio Series concept art subline. All my social medias are linked down below, including my email if you guys want to hit me about business inquiries, if you want to message me about whatever, or if you want to commission a diorama from me, because I make dioramas for people for their stop motions, photography, or irregular display shelves in your homes. You can either hit me up on any of my social media accounts or just email me and we can work out a deal. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!